Okay, beauties, this is a practice for, well, autumn, a time in your life where you may be shedding. In the shamanic, we talk about this being in the west, so the place where we're shedding skins, we're getting lighter, we're preparing for the hibernation of winter, all of those lovely practices that we do at this time of year. It doesn't have to be done in autumn. It's for the lung, the large intestine, and there's a little bit of heart stuff in there as well. So, yeah, just bear that in mind. It's an any time, any place, any day practice that you feel as though there's just that need to want to retreat inwards. Alrighty, let's come to the mat, and we're going to begin in a wide knee child's pose. So I want you to bring the big toes to touch, take the knees out nice and wide, and then we're going to inhale the right arm up and just thread that underneath the left. So there's a little bit of a twisting action there. I'm just going to rearrange my microphone. So if you see me on my phone, it's because I'm timing this so that we get even on either side. And I wouldn't want it to be uneven. But so you're sitting right back, hips are onto the heels. You can shimmy that shoulder under as far as you need it to go. And then I just rest the left hand on top of the right. You can take it forward a little bit, like so. I'd refrain from the arm around the back. Like, you can do this, but my kind of theory is that this is a yin practice, and most of us aren't that great at taking it easy anyway. So to add in the more dynamic kind of arm work is fine if you're the type of person that doesn't do too much dynamic anyway. But I'm going to give you this practice based on my own body, and that's definitely not the choice for me. And then again, just taking that effort out, noticing where you're overstretching, overreaching, over-efforting. You want to come to that place where there's like a middle ground, where there's not so much effort, but also on the other side to that, you're not just chilling out, checked out, and not feeling the sensation of release. You could be feeling this at the back of the shoulder blade. You could be feeling it on the outer line of the right arm. You could feel the right side body even. Inner groin. And just use your breath to track those sensations, just like we're discovering the body. We've just arrived here on the mat. So relatively short holds these first couple anyway. So we need to take another couple of breaths there. Maybe as you breathe out, you let the body soften again, particularly the weight of the bones in this practice. Alrighty, one more feeling breath there, in through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth, just real easy. And then slowly ease out. So never really rushing the movement out. We are going to go right to the other side, but if you need to come in a minute and just rest the knees, that's fine. Otherwise, knees out wide, and this time we're going to move my mic again. So we're going to bring the left arm underneath the right this time. So you can extend that right arm forward a little bit. Move my bolster out the way. Hips back towards the heels again. Little shimmy of that left arm through the right armpit. And then again, we want to just really feel into the tissue at the back of the left shoulder particularly, and there may be other areas that you feel this also. So try with palm down, palm up. Try feeding the arm through, try backing it off and find that place. It's like just about right for you. It's always nice when we first arrive to the mat just to really sense into where the body touches into the earth. It's a grounding practice that I like to do, particularly for being like moving around a lot. Just feeling the tops of the feet where they touch the mat, the shins, the knees. And where the hips reach back towards the heels and the calves and the thighs meet. And feeling a little bit more into the weight of the upper body as it rests on the mat. This sense of relaxing into the bones. And just notice the jaw here. So again, that conscious awareness of separating the back teeth. Noticing tension around the eyes and the eyebrows. Again, just feeling for those sighing outs, those breaths that feel a little bit more like a release of tension. It's just an indication that the nervous system is already starting to shift gears. Move into that place where the body can rest a little bit. And then the intelligence of the body can work towards repairing and restoring. Okay, let's just take 2 more breaths there. So you can get the breath to the back of the body, like fill the back lungs, to the back of the kidneys. And then just begin to very gradually move out. We're just going to take a moment down on the belly there. Oh, it's going to be your favourite cheek to the earth. If the belly's not an option, back is also completely an option. Just feel the weight of your body on the floor. Sense of feeling light. in from here. You guys that are already on your belly, you don't have far to go. So we're going to come on up into Sphinx pose. Now, obviously there's a number of different options here. We will up level to seal like halfway through, so I'll let you know. I like to work with my legs a little bit wider apart sometimes, and then other days I like my legs closer together. So what's helpful is a variety. So you're always playing with those different edges of tension. Now you can just have your hands on the floor like so. That's perfectly acceptable. Palms pressing together is a nice one for me because I feel as though there's less like bracing of the shoulders. It just means that the tension through the front of the body's got more of a chance of unraveling. You can also have like a next level up Sphinx, so you're not quite in a seal, but you're a little bit higher than regular Sphinx. That's quite nice. And then obviously I'll give you the opportunity to come up into seal as the pose progresses. So they're not majorly long holds, these ones today, because there's quite a few poses I want to get through, just to make sure we've touched on all the points, particularly the lungs and the large intestine. And if they're too short a hold, you can always pause the video and take extra time. And then rejoin when you've done the amount of time that you need to do. And then how do we practice being with the pose? So we're not looking for anything, we're not analysing, we're not trying to make meaning, we're not creating any stories, there's plenty of those already. We're literally just holding the body in a shape, in stillness, for a period of time, in order to give it a chance to nourish, chance to decompress, to let go of what needs to be released, to absorb what doesn't, and take the brain out of the equation altogether. So no intellectualizing of any of it. Just your body, some stillness, and a bit of breath. Just ticking over about halfway there. So if you feel like there's space to go a little bit deeper, then you can come on up into Sphinx. And a multitude of options here. You can take the arms wider, closer together. You can have the wrists, fingers pointing in, out, to the side. But let the shoulders hang up by the ears. So you're not pushing at all through the arms. Maybe the feet need to come a little bit wider. You've got this sense of a little layer of unwind of that really dense core tissue through the front of the body. Just a few breaths here. So again, you don't need to do anything particularly. Just know that the pause is coming to an end in a few moments. Alrighty. Oh. It's coming down super, super slow. You can do again, you can do a couple of things. So you can come down onto your belly, that's always an option. If that's not comfortable, you can lay down onto your back also, that's always an option. And then for those of you that want to come into a child's pose, it's a wide knee child's pose. Sometimes I actually like to have the my forehead on a block there. It just feels like it helps to open up the back line of the body a little bit easier. But you don't need to do that. You can just take your head onto the mat. I like my arms in front. If I've got my head on the block, you might put your head all the way down and take your arms back. And then whatever you've chosen, you can still remain on your belly if that's better for you. If you're in a child's pose, feel into where you can really fill your breath into the back of the body. So you want this sense of placing your breath into the areas that may feel like they're stale and stagnant. There might just be areas of the body that you often don't pay attention to. And there might be areas where you feel particularly tight or sticky. So it's kind of like a counter pose thingy. Not the full pause. Just take another breath in. And then easing on up to seated or kneeling. And we're going to set up for what is called quarter dog. So it's a kind of evolution of the previous one-arm child's pose, except in this one the knees and hips stay stacked. So rather than bringing your hips back, they stay over the knees. You're going to take your right arm forward. Now the left arm can be like supporting your head. I'm not going to put my head down there because you won't be able to hear what I'm saying. But imagine that my forehead is on the arm there. The other way is to rest your chest like so. Like ideally the forehead will be on the floor and this arm will be like ahead. It's not the comfiest pose. I'm just going to put my timer on, but the bending of the elbow just gets into the lung meridian a little bit differently. So we're only going to hold this for 2 minutes. Quite a short hold. But again, just be mindful of that overreaching through the right arm. You want to keep the armpits relatively relaxed. This sense of, again, just being okay with the discomfort of this pose. It's not the comfiest. It feels awkward. But just being able to stay in that place of unfamiliarity and still stay. It's already halfway there. Just got another minute. It's about 5 or so breaths. It's relaxing best you can, particularly through the chest and arms. Sometimes I keep the toes tucked here just to keep the legs a bit more stable. Yeah, one more final breath. So you can let go another layer as you breathe out. Just let go, let go, let go. And then coming out slowly, slowly. Oh, it's a bit sticky. Just come up to kneeling for a minute. Give your body the chance to recover for a second or so. And again, like when I say let go, like mostly we don't know what we're letting go of. So don't try to figure it out. Like don't be like, oh, I'm letting go of this, I'm letting go of that. It's just like letting the body soften enough to experience an aspect of let go. Alrighty, changing sides. So this time we have the left arm forward, the right elbow is bent. Ideally the forehead is resting either on the arm or the floor. Ideally knees and hips are stacked. And then again, this sense of softening through the joints. One more breath. And again, that sinking as you exhale, that next layer of release, next layer of let go. Oh, and then come up slow. So not so many rests to rebound in between yet, but we will get to a point when we're doing that. There was just those few that I really wanted to get through so that we've touched on those aspects of the meridians that we don't often touch on. Alrighty, so full lateral dragonfly will be like so. You can sit up on a bolster, you can sit up on a blanket or a block or something like that. Then you can do this in a half version if that's all right in the knees as well. So this is another alternative to do this. We're going to go into a lateral dragonfly. So we're going to come over to the right side first. Now I'm a massive fan of taking it really slowly in these poses because we're getting into the rib, the intercostals and the side of the ribs, which by nature for us humans is a particularly sticky area. And so we don't want to push past like all of that stickiness because we want to experience like the layers of stickiness. So I usually start quite high, and then as the stickiness or the fuzz, which is the fascia, begins to unfuzz, then I'll go a little bit deeper maybe. Okay, now this is actually perfectly fine. You've still got a lateral release going on here. I can definitely feel that. Some of you that have got more open tissue in this area might want to take your arm over your head, but if your arm is like up here, you're doing a dynamic version of the pose, and that is not the aim for today. So remember, you can have your left knee bent in if that feels a little bit more comfortable for you. And then like everything, there's always going to be some activation in the pose. Like that's when you see the yin yang symbol and there's a bit of black in the white and a bit of white in the black. There's always going to be an element of yang in a yin practice. You can't separate the two. But it's about knowing, like, yes, there's activation through aspects of the bones that need to hold the body up. But beyond that, where else can I relax my body? So this sense of letting the skin relax to begin with. Get this sense for me of the liquids that flow internally, the blood, liquid lymph, liquid fascia. Got about another 5 or so breaths here. So if you're on a block like me, there might be room to lower the block to a lower height. That's not for me today. You want to be able to feel that there is definitely more space through the left side rib tissue now. And let's come on slowly, slowly up. Oh, really slow. Oh, just pause there for a moment in center. If you need to bring the legs together, you can do that for a moment again, or just even if they come in halfway, give them a little bit of a little wiggle there. And then let's go to the other side. So again, same thing. I'm just going to feel into this. I've got no idea how tight my right ribs are today. So I'm going to start in the most modified version. And you might play around. You might take that block a little bit further down. And you want to feel here, guys, that the pelvis is like fully on the floor. So you're feeling both sit bones. You are able to feel the weight of the whole pelvis on the earth. So we've got the stability even in a yin practice. And we're going to try to do this without, hopefully you can still hear me, but I'm going to try taking the arm over the head. Actually on this side that doesn't work for me, so I think I'll just stay here today. But there is an option to take the arm over if you want that. Just notice the story that comes in if you take a less progressive version of the pose. Final breath in there. So you can let go another layer as you breathe out. Just let the body soften. And then slowly, slow. Pause there, maybe bring the legs together. In fact, let's take a little rebound actually. Let's just come down onto the back. Just feeling the weight of the back body onto the floor there. Noticing any changes of energy, maybe feeling a little bit more sleepy, maybe you feel more re-energized, maybe it's a bit of re-energized sleepiness. And then we'll make our way up into a caterpillar, a forward fold. Now you can do this with your legs on the wall, like legs up the wall, pardon me, if forward folding is a hard, like tricky pose for you. If you've got any hamstring injuries going on or anything like that, you can support the back of the legs with a bolster, which will just take out the tension there, which I might actually do this one today. So that's an option. You can just fold forward like so. I'm a prop fan, mostly because it helps the body to release to a certain point, and then I'm a prop taker wearer once we've got to that point. So just bear that in mind. Props are there to help. And then legs up the wall if this is not an option for you today. Okay. Put my timer on. Let's get started. So again, sometimes you set up in a pose thinking it's going to be a certain way, and then actually you realise that that's not what your body needs today. So just be really honest in those places as well. Try, if you're a regular yin practitioner, not to just think that you know where your body goes and that's it, because that's very limiting as a practitioner for us. It's almost that we have this approach of the fact that we've never done this pose before, because the truth is, this body in this moment, in this time, has never done this pose before. And so if we're coming at it with a preconceived idea of what this felt like yesterday, we're going to get ourselves in trouble. At the very least, we're just going to really limit the exploration of the practice. And then can you work in a way that doesn't label any experience? So you're just noticing, you're observing. Most of all, you're just giving time for the body to be still. To really hold its place in the more passive aspect of the practice. Just going to give ourselves another couple of breaths there. And just knowing that there's not really anything you need to do, but just again, feel into what's here. And feel where there's still layers of subtle tension internally. And again, just take your time to come on out, so slowly. Just come down and have a moment to let that rebound there. Now, for those of you guys that are comfortable enough with snail, that's where we'll be going, so you can head straight in. I'm just going to offer a few other options before I go into that pose, because I can't really talk once I'm in it. So these are the less intense versions you can work with. Legs up the wall. If you didn't in the previous pose, if you did that in the previous pose, maybe dragonfly, something like that on the wall. Okay. You can do Viparita Karani, so you've got the block on your sacrum. I'd avoid using the bolster underneath your sacrum because they dip, and that can destabilize the pelvis more than is helpful. So try and use something that's super solid, maybe 2 blocks. Okay, we're going to be here a little while, so you're just letting your legs dangle there in mid-air, as relaxed as they possibly can be. And then snail, if you're not already there, is where we're going. Legs come all the way over the head. And remember, with snail, it's different to the yang version. So we're not trying to activate the legs. We're actually just letting the spine curve naturally. So you might have your hands on your back. You might let them rest down on the mat. Your knees might reach your head. They might not. It doesn't matter. The idea is that this is a super, super relaxed version. I actually like to cross my ankles here, which just gives a bit more weight or feeling like there's a bit more stability through the body. And some people actually put bolsters here on the calves. I guess you need another person to just be around doing that. So unless you've got someone there to help, maybe leave that one out. Last 5 or so breaths here. Again, it's just that repeat that we don't need to do anything other than just be. But if there's something that you notice can be let go of in the body, or there's a certain aspect of tension that you're still aware of, and just take your breath there and let the breath guide the release, or not. And super slow. No matter where you are, just help yourself out slowly, slow. Just try and let your body come to a place of stillness, not too much disruption. And you probably feel this sensation. It's like the gripping of, particularly if you've been in snail, the lower back muscles. Just let that kind of work itself out before we jump in to do anything. And then we'll move into our final pose before Shavasana. It's a very simple supine twist. We're going to shift the pelvis over to the right a couple of inches. Now, I'm a fan of both knees bent. You do not need to do that. You can extend the left leg down and come into more of a deeper supine twist, I guess. And then what I would like for today is that your gaze goes towards the same direction of your knees, because the opening that we're aiming for is the lung meridians, the upper right side of the chest there. So your gaze is the same direction of the knees. You'll feel this in pec minor, upper right side of the chest most probably. If you've got quite a bit of back tension, you can bring the knees a little bit closer to the chest. Again, just not feeling like this needs to be anything other than what it is. Ah. Beautiful. And then again, just last time, ease back through center. Maybe just a moment there to re-centralize the pelvis. And then shifting to the other side, so same thing, knees all the way over. Gazing this time in the direction of the knees to the right. So you've got that nice releasing, opening through the upper left side of the chest there. So again, we're getting into pec minor, lung meridian. Just really allowing the body now to move into that place of, I guess, preparation for final rest. So no strain on the breath. If the mind's still active, you can use this as like a mindfulness practice of bringing the awareness constantly back to the breath, over and over. Maybe there'll be one moment where it stays there for a moment longer. And maybe not. And then finally moving back. Find your way through center and take any movement that you need now just to get the body into a place where it's really easy to rest. Legs up the wall is good for you. You can take that too. Maybe something to cover the eyes. Particularly when you're practicing from home, it's so easy to skip Shavasana, final rest, but be disciplined in this. That you've come this far now, then what's another few minutes? So you're absolutely welcome to stay for longer if that's what you need. And I'll leave you from this point to bring yourself back. Namaste.